Welcome to the video lecture series presented by St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, and we are discussing the broad topic of programming for problem solving using C language. Okay, and we are discussing in the last lecture a subtopic called this. Now we are going to see the implementation of arrays in real time. We haven't seen the implementation of arrays in real time in the last lecture, so we'll straight let me go to the notes first, take a glimpse of the notes for a second, and yeah, there it is. We have discussed earlier that one-dimensional array can be uh, say declared with the basic syntax of first we'll mention the type of data that we are going to use for the data points inside the array, then a space, then the name of the array, whatever you want, then the square bracket start, and then you will insert the size of the array. Okay, and then the square brackets will close and semicolon. So we'll have an example called as int. For integer, it defines the type of data points there will be in the array which is being named as marks, and total number of data points that particular array is going to store is 5. So length of this array is 5. That is what is being depicted here with the use of this particular syntax in C. Now for initialization, we have seen in the last lecture that we can access individual data points inside the array by using the index. Let me remind you again, the index starts from 0 and ends at length minus 1. So if the length of the array is 5, the last index will be length minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, 4, and first index will always starts with 0. So if you want to, sorry, so if I want to initialize particular uh, index with a value of this particular array called marks, I will just write the name of the array and insert the index number inside the square brackets and assign the value, some value that should be integer, because we have initially declared that this particular marks array is of type int, so it should be an int value, integer value. So that integer value, whatever value you mention here on the right hand side of the assignment operator, will be automatically assigned to the memory locations which are reserved for the marks 1 index number. So 60 is the integer value which you will find at index number 1 of the array which has been named as marks, and that is what has been depicted here. So let's take a very short example in the IDE. We are going to write. So first we'll write the basic syntax, the assembly directives called in hash include. We'll include a library called stdio, that is standard input output library, and again we'll include a library called conio. We'll not discuss it here, we'll leave it to, and then we'll start the writing of main function. So main, whether you will write a return type for this main function or not entirely depends on the ID you're using or the version of compiler. If you're using the latest version of your C compiler, then there is no need, practically there is no need to write the return type for main function. Okay. And between the curly braces, I will start writing our main code. So first thing first, let us initialize an array, which I will make it of type integer, so int, and I will name it as arr1, array1 that I have named it, and the square bracket start, and I will make it a 10 data point array. Okay, and now in this particular line I have declared the array which is named as arr1, which is of type integer, and its length is of it is of length 10. That means it will have 10 data points. Okay, now I have few options with me to initialize this particular array. Either I can use the syntax like I can use 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 comma 5 6 7 8 9 10. Sorry. So I can initialize my array beforehand like this. So all these 10 data points are now belongs to this particular array called ARR1. Okay, this is one way to initialize an array. First we have declared it, then we have initialized it, but that is not the usual way to do it, because in that way, if we have initialized this particular array in this way, we have hard coded the values or the data points inside the inside our code, which we do not want, because we want our project or our application to be more dynamic. We should ask the user but which data points you want to enter in your array, and then we can do some functions on that. Okay, so I will skip that, but that is also an option. You can do that. For now I will just declare it and let it run. Next we can will start a for loop. uh, the purpose of that for loop is it's going to ask you, now you are the user in this case, for inputting the values of each and every for each and every index in this array called ARR1. So in that way you would have inserted each value of this array by yourself, and you have from your keyboard, and you have not hard coded. So every time you run this application, it will ask you uh, the data points, and it's up to you to insert same data points or different. So it's a dynamic application. So we'll have an variable called I, which will start with 0. Now we haven't declared that I, and I will declare it now. Let's say int I as initial. Let's left it there. We will only declare it, not initialized it. We have initialized that particular value here to 0, and I want this particular I variable to reach out to each and every data point or each and every index of the array that I have initialized earlier, that is ARR1. Now ARR1 is of length 10. That means this I has to go to 10 places and look out for values, or to ask for values or some other function. So this particular for loop has to run 10 times. I will write I must be less than 10. And why is that? I will just disclose this. Let's wait for a few seconds. And I plus plus. Now you all must have known the function of for loop by now. We have discussed it earlier, so I will not go deep inside that. Now first, the standard function for inputting something from your keyboard to your console is scanf. So we'll use that. Sorry, scanf, and %d for integer type, and the ampersand for the pointer or location, and the name of the array called AR1, and square bracket, and I will write I and then semicolon. Okay, now what does this tell you? This, if I left left this for loop like this, so what will happen is, in the first iteration of this loop, the value of I is 0, and the first location of this particular array has also index 0. Okay. So in that case, when I for first iteration, when I go inside this for loop, and I will execute this scanf command, which will ask you to enter the data point from your keyboard. So whatever will you enter from your keyboard, that should be integer type, by the way, will be assigned to this particular location, which is ARRI, and I in this particular iteration is 0. So ARR for one array at index 0 is the will now have value which you have recently inputted from your keyboard. And again, when you have executed this, when we have executed, the compiler will have executed this particular line, it will increment the value of I by 1. That is, now I will increment from 0 to 1, it will again go inside the for loop. The for now it will check if the value of I is less than 10 or not. No, it is not. The value of I in this particular iteration is 1. Will again go inside the loop. Will again execute this command of scanner. It will again ask you to enter a value. Okay, that particular value will be assigned to ARR1 1, because in this particular iteration the value of I is actually 1. And again, when this has been done, the value of I will be incremented by 1, that is 1 plus 1 now is 2. Now we'll check the condition. I, which has a value of 2 now, is again less than 10, so we'll go inside the loop. Again the scanf is executed. Now ARR, the value which will you input from your keyboard, will go inside ARR third index, and it will go on like this. The last index will be ARR19. As I've already told you from the notes, that the index of the array starts from 0 and ends at the length minus 1. That is, if an array is of length 10, the first index will be 0 and last will be length minus 1, that is 10 minus 1, 9. So that is why if I have put an equal to sign here, it will also look for ARR1 10. But the 10th location is not there because we have defined our array to hold only 10 data points. And the last index in data points index is 9 because it has already started from 0. Okay, so in this way we have inputted all the values from the keyboard into this array. Now if you want to print that, or we can first insert, let's say printf, and enter the number. Okay, and if you want to print the values, so I can again use the for loop, and this time I will use j as the variable. Obviously I haven't defined it, so I'll define it now, or sorry, declare it now, and I've initialized the value of j as 0. Again, j will travels through all the array. That means it has to go look for 10 data points. So it must be less than 10, and j plus plus. Okay, these are the body of that. Now all we need to do is just printf. Let's say you want to print each value in a new line, so I will have an escape sequence, \n means new line, and then %t, that is the placeholder for the value of the array at a particular index, and ARR1 bracket start j, and simple. But what this command will do is, for first iteration, when the value of j is 0, it will first check either the value of j is less than 10 or not. Yes, it is less than 10 in the first iteration. It will go inside the loop and it will print the value ARR1 that we have initialized earlier. And now it has we have all declared it and initialized it earlier. ARR1 at it will print the value at jth index. Now j has the value of 0. So whatever be the first element of ARR1 will be printed in first iteration. In next iteration, the value of j must have been incremented by 1. That is, the value of j now is 1. And again, it will check for the condition, either j is less than 10 or not. Yes, it is less than 10. The value of j is 1 right now. It is obviously less than 10, so we'll go inside the loop. We'll execute this printf statement, which is standard out statement, and it will print the value of ARR1j. Now j has a value of 1, so it will print the value of ARR1 at index 1, whatever be the value that is at the index 1 of the array ARR1 will be printed on your console. So let's try to debug this. We'll see. Okay, first we have to save it. Let me save it. I'll save it on the desktop for right now. Let's say what, and It's a C source file, so I'll save it. Sorry. Uh, okay, now I have forgotten to put dot h and dot h. Sorry, that's why I showed this. So again, we'll try to debug this. Okay. In function main in line 10 we are expecting something like this. Okay, we have, okay, so let's do it again. Yeah, enter the number, let's say 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, sorry, and say 0, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 90 and 0. So ARR1 zeroth index holds the value 1, second, first index holds value 2, third index holds the value 3, and then fourth, 5, 6, 7th, 8th, ninth, and the ninth index, which is the last index, holds the value 0, and all the values are printed this. So we terminate it, and okay. So that's a very basic example how you are going to implement an array and how you will output or try to print all the values inside an array on your console. So that is a very basic implementation of array in your C language. Let's go back to the notes and discuss how we are going to initialize a 2D array. We have initialized this. Now the two-dimensional arrays is, let's go back to the two-dimensional arrays. The two-dimensional arrays is represented in the form of rows and columns, also known as the matrix. We have discussed in the last lecture how a two-dimensional array will look like. It will have the number of rows, it will have number of columns, so definitely it will have two index instead of one. One index will tell you at which row you are, and the second index will tell you at which column you are right now. Okay, that is how we in actuality we traverse through the matrix with human intelligence. We will look for a particular row, and then we will look for a particular column, and will find that particular data point. So what is the declaration, or how we declare a two-dimensional array in our C language? So that is pretty simple, as we have devised earlier. First, we will write the data type. Obviously, if I want to have a two-dimensional array of type integer, so I will write int. Next, the array name, whatever you want, and first square bracket will hold the size of number of rows, and second square brackets will hold the number of columns. As you can see in this example, we have an array which is named as 2dimen. It is of type integer, so every data point in this array will be of type integer, and it will have number of rows as 4 and number of columns as 3. So it's a 4 cross 3 matrix that you must have seen in your lifetime. That is 4, and it is cross 3 matrix. The number of rows will be 4 and number of columns will be 3. That is what is trying to say. Now, how to initialize it? One way to initialize it is by not dynamically but passively, as will hard code the values of your two-dimensional arrays in your actual code. Like the curly braces will hold the number of rows. Now this is the first row, this is the second row, third row, and fourth row. So you can see it's an array inside an array. Okay, it's an array inside an array. So we'll have 4 arrays inside an array. All the 4 arrays will hold the values of a particular row. So this is your first row, second row, third row, and fourth row. So first row will be 1 2 3. So below that you will see 2 3 4. Below that you will see 3 4 5, and below that you will see 4 5 6. Okay, now, and that is how, if we have to just Like this, we have initialized, we have written a code here, very basic code. What is being below this for loop and all that we will discuss in next lecture, but this is how you will see each and every value. So for this particular array, let me name it as ARR for time's sake. The first row, first column will hold the value of 1. First row, second column will hold the value of 2. First row, third column will hold the value of 3. Again, you have to keep in mind the index of an array, whether it is 1D or 2D, always starts with 0. So the first row is termed as 0 and first column is termed as 0, not as 1, 1. Okay, so we have seen now, uh, actually theoretically, at least, okay, how a two-dimensional array will be declared and initialized, and how it will actually look like in the memory. And tomorrow we'll see the actual implementation in our IDE. Thank you.